Data speaks louder than opinions. In today's world, data is not just information, it is insight waiting to be discovered. Good morning, distinguished dignitaries, respected guests, esteemed faculty members, researchers, and dear participants. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the third International Conference Intelligence and Data Analytics, BIDA 2026, organized by RV Institute of Management and technically sponsored by Soft Computing Research Society. I, Professor Pooja Takarkar, welcome you all and feel privileged to be the master of ceremony for today's inaugural session. Every successful endeavor begins with seeking divine blessings of the Almighty. Well begun is half done. Let us now invoke the blessings of the Almighty through an invocation song by our beloved student, Miss Kasturi.
Saraswati Namostute Sharade Vidyaprade Saraswati Namostute Sharade Vidyaprade Saraswati Namostute Karadritaveena Pustaka Varamanimaala Alankrita Saraswati Namostute Sharade Vidyaprade Saraswati Namostute Narahari Sutta Vidhilalita Navamaniyuta Kambugale Narahari Sutta Vidhilalita Navamaniyuta Kambugale Surasevita Padayugale Sudhakara Samadhavale Saraswati Namostute Sharade Vidyaprade Saraswati Namostute
wonderful and melodious rendition. A warm welcome is the universal language of kindness. Before I invite our director, Dr. Purushottam Bang, to deliver the welcome address, it is my pleasure to welcome him and introduce him to all of you. Dr. Purushottam Bang, sir, is an engineer with a rich experience of around 31 plus years in academia and industry. He has completed PGDM from the University of Melbourne, Australia, and MBA from Monash University, Australia, which is ranked 42nd globally. He has presented and published 40 plus research articles in national and international refereed journals of repute. He has been conferred recognitions by various bodies, and recently he was conferred with the Best Academic Leader of the Year by Bangalore Management Association during 65th Anniversary Awards 2022. He is a member of many associations and sciences at Beijing, China in 2019. He has been offering management consultancy services to local businesses, institutions, and entrepreneurs. And he has undertaken several funded research projects in various domains. He has been training professionals on building entrepreneurial skills, design thinking, leadership skills, and yoga. His interest areas include entrepreneurship, design thinking, strategy, academic leadership, IKS, and yoga. Also the backbone in conducting all important events at RBI. It's a pleasure to welcome you here, sir. And I now request you to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Pooja, for that generous welcome and introduction. Dignitaries on the days of the days, the presenters, researchers, offline, online, Bansal sir, who is president of SCR, backbone of this conference, attending online. Sir, if you can come online, that would be really good. Bansal sir. And students, my colleagues and students, warm welcome to.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. I am here. I think there is some issue with the network, so it is disconnecting frequently.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for acknowledging your presence. Without which we cannot move forward, so that's why. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So research, as we all know, is so important, right? And a couple of hundreds of years back, India was leading in research. Every country was looking at India. Yesterday, day before yesterday, I had a fortune to visit one of the research institutes in Chennai. Amazing research. They have been working on IKS, Upasiddha Research Institute in Chennai. All the Tamalapatra, the articles written, slokas, stotras, books written on Tamalapatra, they have stored it there. A lot of research is happening on that front. So much of it is happening, but when you see at the global rankings, today India is not seen in a way that was being seen earlier. We have been ranked very low on research. China has picked up like crazy and is at the forefront of the research. So all such conferences are aimed at promoting high quality research. The purpose of the educational institution is not just to disseminate knowledge, but equally important is to create new knowledge, which will get added to the ocean of knowledge. So we did that sole intent. We joined hands with SCRS, and this is the third edition of that conference. International Conference on Business Intelligence and Data Analytics. Amazing response year after year. I will not touch on that, otherwise coordinator of the Noor will kill me, so right. So I will leave that part to her. Okay. So, but a good response, and we have been doing a lot of such conferences. The best part is all those who will be presenting papers, their publications will be published in the Scopus Index proceedings by Springer Nature. Right? So around 120 plus papers. So that's a great achievement. Big round of applause to all the organizers who are involved. So it's my privilege to welcome the dignitaries. Firstly, I welcome our mentor, advisor, Professor M.H. Balasubramania sir, Professor at Department of Management Studies, Indian Institute of Science, who is amazing researcher. Right? You can Google his profile, and those who want to get connected with him, please connect him on LinkedIn. Right? Amazing researcher, world-class researcher, and we're privileged to welcome sir with a knowledge bouquet and a beautiful flower. One of my students will be presenting the same to you. Rajanna, you there to click a photograph? Yeah. So this book, you will love it. It's Lean Spark, Frugal by Design, Global in Impact. And secondly, I take the privilege of welcoming Mr. Ashwinder Singh, sir, Group Vice Chair and Chief Executive, BCG Group, Bangalore, which is into development, construction, and amazing personality, entrepreneur of the highest order, I can say, right? And sir, thank you so much for accepting our invitation, and I welcome on behalf of entire RBI family. And this book, sir, The India Way, Strategies for an Uncertain World, by S. Jayashankar. Yes. You will love that book, sir, and with that small token of love, welcome you. I take this privilege to welcome our beloved President, sir, of our governing body, RBIM. We are really honored, privileged to have sir as our governing body chairman, Shri M.D. Kasturi Ranga, sir, trustee and chairman governing body of RBIM, and an entrepreneur in himself. Right? We welcome sir with a small knowledge bouquet and a flower. This book is From Myths to Science, the evolving story of the universe. Because you are a science lover, I thought I should give this book to you. So we are the books based on the interest of the guests. That is what we have started following now. So thank you, sir, for gracing this event.
Very thoughtful.
Yeah.
Very thoughtful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I take this opportunity to welcome Professor Jagdish Chand Bansal, sir. For some reasons, he cannot come live. He is the president of Software Computing Research Society, New Delhi, the man behind the conference, right? With his technical support, with the ecosystem, we could have this conference, okay? So together, he has been supporting us, and he's so active. He conducts around 6 to 7 conferences throughout the year, very highly reputed conferences. And he's currently a professor at South Asian University, New Delhi. Warm welcome, sir. I cannot give you knowledge bouquet because you have been into creating knowledge. So warm welcome to you, sir. Maybe he will respond later. I take this privilege to welcome my beloved colleague, Professor Noor Firdaus Jahan, General Chair of this conference, worked very hard day and night to put up this conference. Keep it up. Yeah? You should be known for several conferences, not just one. Okay. Dil mange more. Okay. And I take this privilege to welcome another colleague of mine, Professor K. Aparna Rao, joined very recently as the Deputy Director of RBIM, working very hard to understand the institution. All right, warm welcome to you, madam. And I also welcome Professor Narahari sir. You can just welcome Narahari sir with a flower. Yeah? Shah. Yeah, I know. He is supporting us. He is a senior academic, worked for very long in our own institution, RVCE, in Industrial Engineering Management Department. Stalwart, still very active, very active. Thank you, sir. And Shailaja Madam, warm welcome to the consultant and faculty from IIM Bangalore, who will be giving a keynote address. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion. And all the presenters, if you can stand up wherever you are, I just so that people can see you. People are yet to come, so please stand up and warm welcome to you all. I am finding many of you are students, wrote papers with professors, right? So very good beginning, warm welcome to you all and all the best. Please be seated. And lastly, my colleagues who are very busy in arranging this conference, teaching, non-teaching, and my lovely students. Give a big round of applause. They came forward and registered to be part of this conference. So there is a skin in their skin also in organizing this conference. So you took that first step towards research, attending the conferences, witnessing the conferences. Great learning will begin from there. So remain active, like I said in the beginning. Don't be passive, right? Asking right questions is also very important. I am sure you will do that. With that note, I thank each and everyone and all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I request our student to welcome our director, Dr. Purushottam Bangsa, with a token of respect from RBI. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Darkness, lead us to light, O our Almighty. The ceremonial lighting of the lamp symbolizes the dispelling of ignorance and beginning of knowledge. I request all our esteemed dignitaries to kindly come forward for the lighting of the lamp. Thank you, everyone. Behind every successful conference lies a vision and dedicated effort. Behind every successful conference lies a vision and a dedicated effort. Behind BIDA to be successful since the last 3 years at RBIM, the faculty who is responsible for this, the captain of ship for BIDA, is Dr. Noor Firdaus Jahan. It's an immense pleasure to introduce ma'am to all of you. Dr. Noor has been an academician and a passionate teacher with 27 plus years academic and administration experience and is currently working at RBIM as a professor and head of Department of Marketing. She is a visiting faculty at City Institute of Higher Learning, Moncton, Canada, and her role is to interact with their local and global faculty on research initiatives, consulting, and teaching. Ma'am has authored 8 books on the diversified areas of marketing and management. She has published more than 80 papers both in national and international conferences and refereed journals. She is recognized as a guide for PhD in management at Mysore University and BCU and has successfully guided 7 scholars, and all of them have been awarded PhD degree under her able guidance. She also has a YouTube channel named Dr. Noor Firdaus 1876, which aims at inculcating management skills among people. She has been awarded APJ Abdul Kalam Educational Leadership Excellence Award. She's been appointed as Margadarshak under the scheme of Margadarshan initiated by AIPA. She is also serving as advisory board member of several NGOs and guiding them in their activities. I welcome you to this conference, ma'am, and I request you to provide us with an overview of BIDA 2026.
Thank you, Pooja, for that warm welcome. Yes, a very warm and pleasant morning to each one of you present here. I feel really very happy to be here and talk about our conference, which we are doing it from past 3 years very successfully, and it is doing very well. So here, I am Dr. Noor Firdaus Jahan here, General Chair, BIDA 2026. Welcome you all to the International Conference on Business Intelligence and Data Analytics, technically sponsored by Soft Computing Research Society and organized by our institute, RV Institute of Management. This is our 3rd conference, and all the conferences have been highly successful, and looking forward for the same even for this conference. In the era of digital transformation, business worldwide are recognizing the pivotal role of data in the informed decision making and sustainable growth. BIDA 2026 serves as a platform for scholars, researchers, practitioners, and industry experts for exchange of insights, discuss emerging trends, and explore innovative solutions in the realm of business intelligence and data analytics. The key objective of our conference is to foster the interdisciplinary dialogue, best practices, and case studies in business intelligence and data analytics to explore novel methodologies, tools, and techniques for data-driven business decision and business optimization. To address the challenges and opportunities arising from the proliferation of big data throughout the globe, in artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies, and to facilitate networking opportunities and knowledge exchange among participants from diverse backgrounds and geographic regions, the highlights of the conference are the keynote section, what we have lined up today and tomorrow. Then we have got industry insights, challenges, and we have got paper presentation across globe, which provide platform for researchers to share the latest findings, methodologies, and theoretical framework. I feel very happy and it gives me very much pleasure to share with you all that we have received 1,451 papers submission across 9 countries. There's a 9 countries from Bangladesh, Ghana, India, Peru, Serbia, UK, United States, Uzbekistan and Vietnam. So these are the countries where authors have contributed their technical papers towards our conference. Out of which we have selected only 129 papers were accepted and registered. So those who are presenting the papers today are maybe the 9 people out of 100 are getting the opportunity to present papers at the conference. So we have received a review around 583 reviews from across globe and authors, just 9%. The accepted paper will be published in Scopus Index Finger book series called as Smart Innovation Systems and Technologies. The conference we have from today to tomorrow evening, we have lined up you all with 25 parallel sections and various technical sections which is on the CL, intelligent technique, business intelligence, data science, emerging technique, image processing and computer vision. So these 5 things will be deliberated and elaborated today and tomorrow in 25 parallel sections. Our conference is also graced by some eminent speakers for plenary section. One is Mr. Shaileja Grover, who is a research assistant from IIM Bangalore. So I really thank her to be being here. She is here for the day. And tomorrow we have plenary section from Manoranjan Pradhansa, who is the founder of AIthinking.in and is adjunct faculty at IIM Bangalore and ISB Hyderabad. So he is also our plenary speaker, will be joining us tomorrow. So we also have 2 keynote talk sections and 2 industry invited speaker sections, wherein we have 16 experts from across globe from industry to deliberate and discuss and bring the emerging scenarios in this topic what we have to be deliberated today and tomorrow. Some of them to mention are, we have Rahul Jain from Cisco Systems, we have Anirudh Joshi from, we have Narendra from Wells Fargo, then we have Sitaram Srivastava, he is from Equia, then we have Raghavendra Kurwa, he is from IPTIC Americans, then we have Vishal Kumar Sharma, he is a senior business intelligence analysis from McKinsey, then we have Pradeep Kumar, he is a senior database admin from Exifin Inc. Then we have Mohammad Zakir Mehta from Omni-Channel Contact Center Platform. We have Kesu Prasad from Vista Flight Solutions Group, and we also have Shikha Kuja, who is a manager software development from Avid Exchange, and many more are joining us in online from various countries to deliberate on the theme of the conference. So along with this, BIDA 2026 will understand critical role that plays in shaping the organization strategies, driving innovation and fostering competitive advantage in today's dynamic business landscape. I insist all of you to leverage the learning opportunity from all the on both the days and enrich your knowledge as 129 quality papers are likely to be presented along with very nice, very highly knowledgeable keynote sections. We also have a set of eminent chairpersons who will share the technical section and who will give a great input to the author to improve their paper. From across Karnataka, we have got the joiners for this, and it will be a great learning journey to all of you. Let us now has an unparalleled exchange of knowledge, ideas, and experience in the field of business intelligence and data analytics. I wish you all the very best and happy learning. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. This conference is also graced by the online presence of Professor Jagdish Chand Bansal, sir. To tell you a little bit about him, he is a professor at South Asian University, New Delhi, and a visiting professor at Maths and Computer Science, Liverpool, Hope University, UK. He also holds a visiting professorship at NIT Goa, India. He has obtained his PhD in mathematics from IIT Roorkee, and he has also received gold medal at UG and PG levels. Before joining SAU New Delhi, he has worked as an assistant professor at ABB Indian Institute of Information Technology and Management, Gwalior, and BITS Pilani. His primary areas of interest are swarm intelligence and nature-inspired optimization techniques. Sir has published over 150 research papers in various international journals and conferences. He is the section editor of the journal Methods X, published by Elsevier. He is the editor of series of 4 Springer books published by Springer, and Sir right now serves as the president associate editor of the Soft Computing Journal published by Springer. It is an honor to have you here with us, sir. I now request you to address the gathering.
There, sir. Chill, sir. Council, sir.
Bansal sir, if you can hear us, can you please switch on your video?
ठीक है अभी एंड में रखेंगे अगर पॉसिबल हुआ तो थोड़ा with your permission we will go ahead with the program and in the end we will call you again by that time we will discuss we will comply by
Due to connectivity issues, Bansal sir will join us later. Let us proceed to the next segment of this event. Writing is the painting of the voice. A souvenir captures the essence of knowledge and collective effort. I now request all our dignitaries to kindly release the souvenir of BIDA 2026.
it's online, right?
Yes.
It is online. Just have to give the
So the release will be online at the click of a finger.
yes. That is going to be the title of the wherein you are appearing in 3 volumes. The first was 1 volume,
Thank you, everyone. It is rightly said, a true teacher is the one who inspires beyond classrooms. We are deeply honored to have with us our chief guest of the inaugural ceremony of BIDA, Dr. M.H. Balasubramania sir. To introduce him is my pleasure. Sir is Professor of Economics at the Department of Management Studies, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He has been serving in IISc since May 1996. He has more than 200 publications to his credit, comprising research papers in refereed international and national journals, among others. His field of specialization is industrial economics. 2 of his research works have been published as monographs by D. Gruyter, Berlin, Germany in 2021, namely Entrepreneurial Ecosystems for Tech Startups in India, Evolution, Structure and Role, and Technology Business Incubators India, Structure, Role and Performance. Another research work titled Returning Entrepreneurs and Tech Startups in India will soon be published as a monograph by D. Gruyter, Germany in April 2026. It's a pleasure to have you with us here, sir. And I now request you to address the gathering.
Good morning to everybody. My pleasure to be here as the chief guest for the inaugural function of your international conference. At the outset, I would like to congratulate and compliment Professor Bang and his team, particularly Professor Noor, for organizing such an important and relevant event. The theme of the conference is pretty relevant in the current context, particularly because we all know that data, empirical data, are increasing day but every minute. It's a very important role in policy making, in policy revision, maybe in outright policy rejection as well. And management researchers have a major role to play here, apart from other social scientists. So let me elaborate. There is turmoil all around. Now, turmoil, I'm not referring to the Middle East crisis. Turmoil is primarily because of the anticipation and apprehensions emerging due to the steady progress of Industry 4.0, particularly data-driven AI. In fact, there is widespread apprehension that data-driven AI can cause widespread and unprecedented disruptions in the labor market. Now the question is, are we prepared to face the challenges that will be posed by the data-driven AI? What needs to be done? Because as some reports have revealed, this AI is going to create havoc, particularly in the job market and particularly for youngsters. That is why this is relevant. To move further, I always see a paradox when I looked at economic history. The paradox is this. On the one hand, there is challenge with respect to generating productive employment. Now, this challenge has been faced by policymakers perennially in developed countries, and the magnitude assumes a higher proportion when it comes to emerging economies and developing countries because we have a large and growing labor force. So, how to generate productive employment is a persistent challenge. That is on the one side. But on the other, if we see, periodically new technologies have emerged. Now, these new technologies invariably are labor saving. They improve efficiency, they improve productivity, but they are labor saving. Now, that is the context. Now, let me go back to the era prior to the first industrial revolution. Now, this period is called proto-industrialization. Now, in this proto-industrialization, the innovation of tools, equipment, implements enabled the labor to become more efficient. Several specialized professions emerged. Agricultural economies, they diversified, expanded. In a sense, non-agricultural or non-farm economic activities emerged on a large scale. And it is during this period that the earliest forms of industrial organization emerged, called a dispersed factory system, or it's called putting out system. So it emerged in a big way in the current United Kingdom and several other countries. But when the first industrial revolution emerged, that is with the invention of machines operated by water and steam power, dispersed factory system received a death blow, or putting out system. Factory employment, factory system emerged. Now, when this kind of shift happened, please note, prior to the first industrial revolution, labor-intensive production was predominant. And with the first industrial revolution, continued with the second industrial revolution, labor-intensive production shifted towards capital-intensive production. Okay. Second industrial revolution, with the invention of electricity, right? Mass production emerged, assembly line production emerged, capital-intensive production got problems. With the third industrial revolution, that is with the development of electronics and IT, it moved further from capital-intensive production to technology-intensive production. In other words, R&D and research started assuming more and more problems. Now let us come to the fourth industrial revolution. Of course, if you look at literature, references are made to fifth industrial revolution, sixth industrial revolution. Let me confine the industrial revolution that is relevant to our context. Now the uniqueness of this fourth industrial revolution is that it is multi-dimensional, because experts consider the first three industrial revolutions as unidimensional. whereas this is multi-dimensional. There are various descriptions, but I would like to refer to one of the more appealing ones to me. So in general, there are 9 key technological components that progressively make up the foundation of Industry 4.0. What are those? Autonomous robots, big data, augmented reality, additive manufacturing, cloud computing, cyber security, Internet of Things, system integration, simulation. Thus, unlike the first 3 IRs, the fourth one is multi-dimensional. Now, this one again is expected to create havoc in the labor market. Right? Now, the next question is, what kind of outcomes we can foresee? Now, according to me, I make some very minor macro observations. Advanced countries, which have sophisticated technology, sophisticated manpower, and that is where, of course, these revolutions emerge. They will go ahead further. Now, in the process, many of you would know, global value chains, which account for about 80% of the international trade, global value chains tend to move away from developing countries and emerging economies, which are not able to cope with the progress of Industry 4.0. That is the problem. So if emerging economies and developing countries, emerging economies like India, if we have to really be with them and join the global value chain, then we must upgrade our technology. We must upgrade the skills of our labor force, and we must comply with the requirements of Industry 4.0. Only then we will be able to join the global value chains, which is I would say it's a prerequisite for the economic prosperity of any country. And that's how China has prospered. That is how Southeast Asian countries have prospered. So if we also have to prosper in a big way, it is very essential for us to join the global value chains of multinational corporations in a big way. Now let us look at the industrial economic structure of India, because they help us to understand to what extent we will be able to cope with the progress of Industry 4.0, okay, including AI. Now, broadly, I will give you an idea about non-agricultural enterprises in India, its composition in terms of number of enterprises. Okay, according to my rough observation, about 75% of the overall non-agricultural enterprises are accounted by unorganized sector. All of you should know that unorganized sector is still predominant in these sectors for employment, not for income. About 20%, 75% counted, now another 25% is there. Out of that, about 20%, that is 75 plus 20, accounted by modern factory enterprises. I would call small and medium enterprises, manufacturing and services. Many of them are operating with electricity connections, right? So 75 plus 20, 95. Now another 4% approximately accounted by modern large-scale enterprises. They are more technology intensive, where R&D and innovations may occur periodically, right? So 75 plus 20 plus 4, 99. The top 1% triangle, I would consider a pyramidal structure. Large base, unorganized sector, smaller, intermediate, lower base, factories, small and medium enterprises, a small upper base, 4%, modern scale enterprises, and the top 1% will be represented by deep tech startups. Deep tech startups. They are AI driven, AI generating. Okay. In fact, so if you look at these 4 segments, I would say the lowest segment, that is unorganized, even today, they pursue only labor-intensive production. A significant chunk of them do not have any connection of electricity. Might use for light and fan, that's a different. But they pursue labor-intensive production, or they represent labor-intensive production. And the 20%, broadly you can say, they represent capital-intensive production. And the 4% modern large-scale enterprises, technology-intensive products. The top one, deep tech startups, they are, I would say, they actually represent knowledge-intensive production. So in a country like ours, we can actually see all the 4 types of production which have emerged over a period of time because of multiple industrial revolutions. And every industrial revolution backed up by technological revolution has caused disruption in the labor market. Many of you were not born. In the 70s, when there was a proposal to computerize Indian railways, there was mass demonstration in the country. You may remember.
Same thing with the banks.
Banks also, exactly. Because everybody anticipated there will be job losses, considerable job losses. Right? But what happened? Efficiency of railways, efficiency of banking, everything has significantly improved with the adoption of technology. Of course, they were labor-saving technologies as well. Okay? So, what's important to know is why labor-saving technologies emerged. Productivity, efficiency improved. So, this has affected us in a significant way. Now, how do we say that? In 1991, when we launched economic reforms on a big scale, everybody thought India will become an industrialized country. In 1991, I was in the late 20s. We are all youngsters. I was in Delhi. So we are all youngsters and talking that, okay, India will become an industrialized country. It's only a matter of time. But once the mid-90s crossed, policymakers realized that industry is not growing as they wanted. Okay? Why? Because both domestic industrial investments and foreign investment, they started drifting towards the services sector. And even there, job generation was not significant. That is why in the early 2000s, policymakers realized that India is experiencing jobless growth. That is where they introduced the term inclusive growth. That is, growth has to include every Indian and not only a certain proportion of Indians. So this challenge continues. So given the structure of our economy, what I have explained, there is limited scope for AI affecting the lower base. Virtually, through smartphones, digital payments, some minimum penetration would have happened, but job losses are likely. You know why? They are there in the unorganized sector because they have failed to get a job in the organized sector. That is the problem. So whoever fails to get an employment in the organized sector, he or she will find an employment in the unorganized sector. Many of them are self-employed. Okay, you would see roadside eateries, you would say pop and mom store. Go and ask them. They have not got any other employment. For survival, they have started. Some might become a tailor, some might become a driver, some might start a bakery, right? So all these unorganized enterprises emerge that actually is a reflection on the failure of the economic policy implementation in terms of job generation. Now with AI, you can anticipate more job losses not in the unorganized sector but in the organized sector. But if you look at the factory sector enterprises, MSMEs, because they are representing capital intensive production, they have the scope for adoption of AI. They have the scope to integrate themselves with the global value chains. Scope. How far this scope can be tapped? I'm not sure. Go to the 4%. Modern large-scale enterprises. They are technology intensive. They are smart. They will be able to adopt to the industry 4.0, absorb them very efficiently. Now, those of you who closely follow the LinkedIn postings, you will understand. Here's the Tata Power has entered into a collaboration with an AI startup. So they are not able, many of them are not able to develop their technology, but they start collaborating with deep tech startups. That is how they overcome their technological inadequacy. So now let me try to complete it. In acquisitions, yes. So the opportunities, what are the opportunities? Point number one, infrastructure, capital equipment, manufacturers will have a good time. They will get more opportunities for investment. They will generate employment. First one. Deep tech startups will emerge. They have multiple opportunities. Those who are innovating, those who have innovative ideas. In fact, IIT Madras, if you look at their website, particularly the Nipman website, not Nipman, sorry, the incubation cell, there is one of the incubators, I am not getting the name. They have generated more than 500 deep tech startups in the last 2 decades. And in the last 1 year itself, they have incubated 100 deep tech startups. And they claim that their survival rate is more than 82%, beyond 5 years. Globally, it is argued that 90% of the startups, they beyond 5 years after their emergence. So deep tech startups will emerge in a big way from our young minds. And graduates of high-tech, rather higher education institutions, premier institutions of engineering and management, they will get jobs very easily. And as I said, modern large-scale industries, who are able to cope with the industry 4.6 requirements, they will be able to join the global value chains pretty well. Now, these are other opportunities. Then what are the challenges? We have a huge, large, unskilled, inadequately skilled labor force. Already they are redundant, they may not be able to achieve any progress. And though we claim that we have more than 1,000 universities, we have more than 2,500 engineering institutions, I'm not really sure whether all of them will be able to rise up to the occasion to take advantage of the growing opportunities in the Industry 4.0 space. It is very difficult, right? And one more thing, though I have said that modern large-scale industries are technology-intensive and many of them, they are not engaging themselves in R&D and innovation. Many of them, they resort to periodic technology inputs. Because after 1991, importing foreign technology was made easier. So they repeatedly they import foreign technologies. They are not into. That's why if you look at the R&D intensity of the country has not improved at all. It has more or less remained static. That is R&D expenditure as a percentage of GDP. It is somewhere between 0.6% to 1% or so. But most of the advanced countries, they have more than 2% of the GDP, maybe 3% or so, some cases. Majority of them between 2 and 3%. So what the policymakers should do? So let me read out some of the policy imperatives, as I would call. The rapid development of ICT infrastructure with a strong semiconductor base in the country is essential, and Government of India is very appropriately working towards that. Now here, I have a major complaint against our private industry. Our private industry must have invested already on their own in the semiconductor industry space already, because they have the financial muscle, large-scale enterprises. But they are always looking towards government support. They want government to create a favorable infrastructure climate, then they will invest. That's why if you see whether investments are in Gujarat or in Assam or anywhere, they're all strongly backed up by the government. So on the one hand, they say that government should keep away from business. On the other hand, they also argue that we want government support behind us on a continuous basis. That's a problem. Now, promotion of skill development with a focus on higher education institutions, both engineering and management. This must be promoted in a big way. Third one, focus of Make in India program should be more on attracting FDI from multinational corporations, which have adopted Industry 4.0 and which can integrate themselves with the local industries. That's it. Government of India has conditioned for many of these investments. Encourage automotive majors to help their suppliers adopt Industry 4.0. That also must be happening. I'm not sure. I don't have any stats. Specialized incubators, technology incubators for high-tech startups in higher education institutions in the Industry 4.0 space. Second, research park website will know what they have progress. And and facilitate export-oriented MSMEs to adopt Industry 4.0 wherever feasible to sustain or further gain foothold in global markets. Some of you who are aware of MSME contribution to the country, quite often you would have read the statement that 50% of the total exports come from MSMEs. 50% of the exports in terms of value is contributed by MSMEs. But if you look at the number of MSMEs contributing, it accounts for hardly 2 to 3% of the MSMEs. And many of them, they are not perennial exporters, they are intermittent exporters. But we must encourage state-of-the-art MSMEs to contribute to the country in terms of exports. And the last one, India's Industry 4.0 adopted e-commerce companies allow MSMEs to make use of their platforms for their operations and sales. That's also happening. In fact, Amazon and Flipkart, both they encourage MSMEs in a big way. Now, these are some of my observations. To conclude, I would say this conference is appropriate to understand what kind of developments are taking place in the context of big data, in the context of business intelligence and data analytics. What kind of methodologies, new methodologies are emerging? What kind of new theoretical underpinnings can be used in the context of for data analysis, right? And what kind of inferences can be derived? What kind of research gaps exist? This is from the academic front. And one more thing that I would like to very strongly emphasize that we must promote industry-institute interaction in a big way. Academicians must learn from industry executives to know what is happening, what are they doing, how are they doing, how are they coping with the challenges, how are they managing. It's very important. And now UGC anyway has created scope for professor of practice. So many higher education institutions are actually encouraging industry executives to join them as process of practice. So this is the right time to promote industry-institute interaction. And this conference, of course, has attracted industry, we have invited industry experts apart from academic presentations. I wish all the best. Thanks.
If there are any questions, note it down. In the end, if time permits, we'll ask. Okay?
If I know the answer.
That's a disclaimer, sir. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing such interesting and insightful thoughts. As you rightly said, industry and academia together paved the way for innovation. And that is why our guest of honor for today, we are absolutely honored to have with us Mr. Ashwinder R. Singh, sir. To introduce him to all of you, he is the Vice Chairman and CEO of BCG Group and co-founder of BCG Royale, leading the 70-year construction legacy to a capital-driven real estate development platform. With over 30 years of experience, Sir has held 4 CEO mandates across advisory, development, and PropTech, including leadership roles at JLL Residential India, and Anarok and Bharatiya Urban. He has been associated with real estate transactions exceeding $5 billion and brings a strong foundation in structured finance from institutions such as Citibank, Dutch Bank, ICICI Bank, and Fullerton, Singapore. Beyond his executive roles, he actively mentors startups in PropTech and Urban Tech, serves as the chairman of CII Real Estate Committee, and advises leading industry bodies like NAR India and RICS. He is a thought leader in the sector, and he is also a 3-time Amazon #1 best-selling author. It's a pleasure to have you with us here, sir, and I request you to please address the gathering.
Good morning, everyone. It's been 30 years I passed out from my MBA, and I was looking at each one of you, and I was just thinking I used to also sit somewhere there most of the time, not understanding what people are saying. And That's life, right? Good to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you, Dr. Shotambang, Dr. Noor Fidus, Professor Jagdish Chand Bansal, Dr. M.S. Balasubramanian, Mr. M.D. Kasturi Ranga, Dr. K. Aparna Rao, and Mrs. Shalja Grover. Thank you so much for inviting me. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to get into technicals, but I'm going to talk from a leadership standpoint so that all of you, how many of you are engineers? That's not good. We shouldn't have so many engineers doing MBA. Unfortunately, we have a lot of engineers doing MBA, and that is why most of them are not good leaders. Most of them are not. They are okay. Because, you know, a human mind is made of your left brain and right brain, and finally emotional intelligence always takes over the overall other intelligence. And that you will learn in life after a few decades. And I am on the board of a couple of startups which are run by IIT Madras and IIT Mumbai founders. Very successful startups. I'm also on the board of IIT Mumbai Startup Incubation. And I love that when I go there because I'm the only non-engineer there. But jokes apart, yeah, I wanted all of you to smile a little. It's early morning. I saw some people smiling, but most of you were very serious.
Sometimes I feel why they are
That's right, sir. Actually, they want to show they are serious. At this age, most of them are not. Who is Prerna Girgaonkar? Prerna, thank you so much for sending me a LinkedIn request. It just shows you are a very proactive girl. Well done. This is all about leadership. This is all about networking because your network is your net worth. And sit down, please. Thank you so much. I humbly accept your LinkedIn request. You were the 50th thousand follower on LinkedIn for me. So, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you how to use data. I'm not going to get into data sciences. And Professor Balasubramanian, your presentation was outstanding, and there was so much of learning, especially the generation industrial perspective that you gave, and the 9 aspects that will cover it you gave were really thought-provoking, and I'm going to definitely delve more into it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take 10 minutes, and I'm going to just tell as a leader how should you use data. It is very important. None of you are going to get into data analytics or hardcore deep tech or data engineering because if you are, great, that is a great area, but it's a pretty boring area. What is more interesting is leadership, where you have people who finally work on data and you take decisions on those data. I was the group head of Bajaj Finance, which is one of the most respected financial services companies of India, a 7 lakh crore market cap. I ran the mortgage business for them, both retail and wholesale lending. And one of the top most companies, which is a market leader in data analytics in the financial services world, whereas most of these banks were very rudimentary. 15 years back, it is run by Rajiv Jain, who's non-IIM, who's not an engineer, who's an MBA from Manipal. His worth is 3,000 crores today, and he reaches office at 7:30 in the morning, leaves at 5:30, works 6 days a week, hardly takes a holiday, and is one of the best practitioners when it comes to how to look at data and take decisions based on data. So I have one question. I was thinking, how should I start? And my simple question is, when was the last time you guys changed your mind? Not because somebody convinced you, not because your boss, your teacher, your parent asked you, but because data forced you to do that. So what goes in data is not as important as what comes out of data. So that's where my presentation is going to be. And that's my first question. When did you last change your mind because of data? Data is the new oil, and we used to say that 5 years back. We have a lot of, respected academicians here, and they would know that, when you are teaching people from IIMs and all, they are brilliant minds. And the reason why they are brilliant is because they understand that a decision has to have a basis. And that is why I would request all of you, that in this coming era of Industry 4.0, please decide based on data, other than deciding on your boyfriend and girlfriends, because there you might not get too much of data. That is a matter of heart. Because the last thing I want is you are getting married after 5 years, 10 years, or you like somebody and you start looking at some data points, which can end up making you take wrong decisions. So please always remember that data is for analyst is not correct. Data is a leadership language. If you want to do well once you start working in a corporate, even when you start, remember it is a leadership language. You need to ask, you need to challenge, and you need to act. So it is very important that if you want to be leaders of tomorrow, CXOs of tomorrow, CEOs of tomorrow, and as Professor Balasubramanian said, there are going to be opportunities. And the moment there are opportunities in deep tech, finally deep tech is also solving a problem. All these startups finally are solving a problem. And today India has a problem that we have very less deep tech companies. Deep tech is in Israel, deep tech is in South Korea, deep tech is in the US. And why doesn't India have deep tech? Because India doesn't have leadership. We are ready to do the things which are far easier because our intention is to get a job, but not to become a leader. So if today you guys can't think and you don't have the confidence to become a CEO after 10 years or 15 years or 20 years. I was in Citibank. I was the only branch manager who was a non-IM, non-engineer branch manager in 2002. And I had 5 IM people, one from FMS, one from XLRA, one from IM Lucknow, 2 from IM Bangalore reporting into me. And in 2 years I was a city banking head. After a year, I was the national head private banking for ICICI Bank, and here I'm doing real estate. What I'm trying to say is anything and everything is possible, and it all starts from belief, hard work, and obviously I realized one thing. All these people who went to IIM Bangalore and IIM Calcutta and IIM Ahmedabad, and most of my bosses were IIMs, and they trusted me. I realized they worked very hard when I was not working hard. So I now need to work hard when they are taking things for granted. It is about working very, very, very hard, especially when people take you lightly. So understand, data is a leadership language. Fall in love with numbers, fall in love with data, keep on romanticizing data, look at an Excel sheet multiple times, and multiple times. These boys are laughing because I'm using romance as a word, but that's the age. But look at data again and again and again, because every time when you look at numbers, they will reveal something else. And people who can understand data and then they take decisions, they are the leaders of tomorrow. How many of you want to be managers and how many of you want to be leaders? I would want to know. Can you raise your hands? How many of you want to be managers? Okay, 1, 2, 3. These are honest people. How many of you want to be leaders of tomorrow? Okay. Some of them don't want to be either a manager or a leader. So please stand up who did not raise your hands. All of you please stand up who did raise your hand.
Be honest, okay?
Now you won't stand up, right? You didn't know this question is coming. Right? And some people always raise hands like this. Guys, have confidence. These are signs of self-belief and confidence. If I can help even one student before I leave to really understand and add self-belief, I think my discussion today would be successful. So 5 questions every time that everybody needs to know when you look at data. So how do you become a leader in data is, what decision does this inform? How fresh is this data? So when you're looking at data, is that data relevant or not? Data comes to us, but whether it is relevant or not, and what is this data not telling us? Because it is a data analytics forum. What is this data not telling us? Most of the times we are always looking at data as to what it is telling us. But many times we also need to understand what that data is not telling us and who collected this data and why. Was this data collected by a data analyst? Was this data collected by a business manager? Was this data collected by a customer function? Was this data collected by an operations function? Because there can be bias. So that data has to be collected by machines, and that is why the quality of data that you are going to get now is going to be phenomenal. And what would change my mind when you are reading that data? What is it that you had thought before you started analyzing data? And after you saw that data, is that data changing your mind to take a particular business decision, whether you should launch a product at 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 30 rupees, whether you should launch a product in North India, West India, East India, South India? Is this a non-vegetarian product or a vegetarian product? What is the segment of this product? Every single decision, whether it is marketing, whether it is sales, whether it is distribution, whether it is operations, whether it is manufacturing, anything and everything finally boils down to data, market research. And that is why some of the companies we started in market research are going to be in premium. And Professor Balasubramanian said that the top minds are really going to be in big demand. And top mind is not just defined by top institutes. That is the only thing that I want to tell you. Just because somebody is not in the top institute does not mean that person doesn't have the top mind. It is more about figuring out at what point in time you want to utilize the top mind that God gave you. Let me get a little spiritual here, because we all say we are all equal, all religions are the same, there is one God, etc., etc., etc. But the moment we do our graduation and post-graduation, the minds change. So the minds don't change. Most of the people who go to good institutes utilize their minds, and they are more studious people. And if you want to compete, as I said, you have to start working very hard and think and understanding that you have to compete with the best. And if you want to be amongst the best, you will have to work hard, and that is what my only submission is, because this is Industry 4.0. Things are going to be very different, and the quality of mind and the quality of intent and the quality of hard work, everything is going to matter. So they say culture eats strategy for breakfast, but I feel bad data culture eats good strategy for lunch. So culture eats strategy at breakfast. What does that mean? It's a very old saying. It means that if you have a bad culture, you can have the best strategy, but that company will not do well. Bad culture is what? People are not respected, punctuality is not important, bosses are toxic, so on and so forth. But a bad data culture means where you are taking decisions without data, or you have data but you show you have a lot of data, but there are a lot of people who are still taking decisions without data, and that will eat a good strategy for lunch. So finally, culture and data culture are going to become hand in hand, and a good culture will also mean that there needs to be a good data culture. Then only a good strategy will deliver good results. So there are two things that define culture and strategy. You know, you can have a great culture but very poor talent. You will not do well. You can have great talent but very poor culture. You will not do well. So if you have a great culture and poor talent, that means you have a great aircraft which does not have fuel. It will not fly. You have a great talent but very poor culture, but it means you have the best pilot but there is no aeroplane. So the pilot is there, he knows how to fly and he's waiting, but he doesn't have a plane. And finally, when you have a pilot and a plane, data is going to become the fuel.
So you need to have that fuel, and that is why it becomes very important. Reward the question, not just the answer. Understand how to read data, look at questions. Bad news delivered early is a gift. Punish the delay, not the data. Dashboards on walls, not just in boardrooms. You need dashboards everywhere. And I'm going to quickly come to that because dashboards tell you what the data is trying to tell you. And what does the data say? First question in every meeting by a leader, by a manager should be, what is the data saying? Because this is a data analytics platform and there are going to be people who are going to be data analysts and there are going to be people who are going to use data. The first question I ask in any meeting is, what is the data saying? What is the price in Marathahalli? What is the real estate price in Whitefield? What is the real estate price in Hoskote? And when people say, why do I invest in Hoskote? I tell them, please invest in Hoskote because Hoskote is 22,002 of Whitefield. So when I was selling Whitefield at 4,000, nobody was buying it. Today Whitefield is 20,000. Today I am selling Hoskote at 6,000, nobody is buying it. After 10 years, Hoskote will be at 15,000. That is what data says. So when you start saying, today Hoskote is what Whitefield was 15 years back, the buyer quickly buys. And yes, what Balasubramanian ji said, please understand markets like Bangalore are going to be under more stress because right now AI is disrupting. There are job losses happening. There's been a very big company which has kind of retrenched around 20% people. Company is Oracle. They are saying they are going to ask other 10% to go, and the entire money that is getting saved is going into AI and into data analytics and into cloud computing and into lots of other things. And you know what is the data saying for real estate? Somebody said, oh, Bangalore is a fantastic market, you know, end users, blah, 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 blah. I said, but Bangalore, 80% of home buyers are techies. How many of those techies are going to buy when they are right now thinking whether they are going to have a job or not? That is data. What is it? That is data. So Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, the top 3 markets out of the top 7 markets, because South has been a pioneer in technology, the biggest disruption is also going to come in South India. Pune, Kolkata. Let's upgrade, upskill, and 4 things that can help you understand data is your instrument panel, which is your dashboard. Build dashboards, whether it is sales, operations, compliance, finance. Remember that you need to have dashboards because dashboards will help you read data properly. The other thing is KPI. Every data should have a key performance indicator. What is your scoreboard? What is the KPI saying? And basis that you figure out whether a particular function is working as per a KPI or not as per a KPI. And then trend and then a cohort. Comparing like by like. What is the trend line? Now these are basics. But if you know basics, you can be the world's most successful CEO. So cohort means don't compare an orange with an apple. Don't compare an apple with an orange. And that's how you can build frameworks, understand data. And as I say, numbers don't lie, but they are very good at misleading. Numbers don't lie, but if you don't read them correctly, they can completely mislead you. So correlation is not causation. Vanity metrics, there are a lot of metrics which don't help, but when you start seeing a lot of metrics, you know, you get confused. Which are those top 20 metrics which will give me 80% of results? Right? Cherry picked windows, you know, averages are lying. You know, somebody says the average growth is 10% in India, but that means Bangalore was growing at 30% and Punjab was growing at 2%. So never look at averages. Never look at averages because averages are always misleading. So these are very, very small things, and paralysis by analysis, don't get into too much of data that the human angle is missed. Because if that was the case, then humans will be replaced by AI and robots, which is not going to happen. So don't analyze so much. Analyze, but beyond a point, leave it. And precision is not equal to accuracy. You need to be excellent. You don't need to be perfect. And excellent means you need to give your best. Because if you go for perfection, you guys will never be able to do business. Business is about real life scenarios, because most of the business plans that startups make, finally, they go for a toss in the first month when the startup actually starts working, because the real life is very different than what is there in the Excel sheet. So you have to keep on calibrating, you have to keep on dynamically testing, checking what is actual, looking at the variance, then seeing why there is a variance, so on and so forth. So I'm not going to take more time. I had 15 minutes. This data presentation can be shared. You know, there are four kind of people. There are people who are data avoiders. There are people who are data consumers. There are people who are data question, and there are people who are data champions. You have to decide. Your data can be intimidating. Like tall and heavy people from Punjab, from where I come. They can be intimidating. They are not intimidating. They are very nice people. But yes, you know, north, south, and opposites attract. That is why I'm here, and I love Bangalore. So there are four kind of professionals in companies which are there. There are people who avoid data because they are afraid of data. Then there are people who consume data. They are consuming a lot of data. But I don't know what they are doing with that data. And then there are people who, when they look at data, they question data. And finally, there are people who are data champions, who consume data, they question data, and they make the most out of data. So look at data and always remember that data is the new oil. Data champions will be the next champions of the world. It is a very, very important metric for an MBA student to understand. So don't ask for data after the decision, please. After the decision goes wrong, most of us people like me who give a lot of gyan, they start asking for data after my decision has gone wrong, and then I need to put it on something. So I'm looking for excuses why did the decision go wrong. So please never ask for data after the decision. Build the system that delivers the right data before the decision needs to be made. So systems, processes, culture should be there so that data is part of our real life, and we are building the right data, it is in the right format so that we can use it, and basis that we start taking our decisions. Thank you once again for calling me. One question every meeting forever: what does the data say? What does the data say, and what does the data say? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for helping us understand the power of data-driven decision making in such an interesting and thought-provoking manner. We did not realize that it was already 15 minutes. Thank you very much. We are also honored to have the presence of our President Governing Body, Shri M.D. Kasturi Ranga, sir. I now take the pleasure of introducing him to all of you. Sir is a director in the Krishna group of companies which operates in two verticals, namely flour milling and retailing. The retailing business is franchise business of Tanishq Jewelry and Titan Watches, where Mr. Ranga, sir, manages a team of 150 people. He worked at the Worldwide Information Security Group of Johnson & Johnson and subsequently at Oracle Corporation as a sales engineer serving the government, education and healthcare verticals of North America. He holds a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from RB College of Engineering and MS degree in management from the University of Maryland, College Park. Sir is also known as Ranga. He's a resident of Bangalore, and he also serves on the board of trustees of the RB group of institutions. Thank you very much, sir, for gracing the conference, and I now request you to deliver the presidential address.
Good morning, everybody. After such a wonderful speech by Mr. Ashwinder Singh, I don't know if I can say and also Balasubramaniam. Both of you have said so much and so elegantly, so concisely. Right, so with whatever you needed to convey the importance of data, I don't think I can add much more than this. All that I want to say is that, while I was working at Oracle Corporation about 20 years ago, some of my colleagues used to constantly present the business intelligence and data suite solutions of Oracle. I was an engineer selling information security products. So I distinctly remember how companies would embrace these solutions, but none could come close to what Mr. Singh said. So yeah, in such a nice manner, I think the importance of the use of data, right? I couldn't have found a better expression than in which. And Dr. Balasubramaniam conveyed to us the Industrial Revolution 4.0 and the importance of data and how it's going to impact our lives, and more importantly, the graduates like yourself who are going to go seek jobs very soon and perhaps become leaders or managers. The importance of data couldn't have been conveyed in a much better manner. So without having to say much more, all I want to say is that the importance of data, for a not so tech savvy person like myself, conveyed so beautifully. Of course, day in, day out as an entrepreneur, even I have to come to terms with data and use it. But the manner in which Mr. Singh conveyed this, I would like to thank him once again for having done it. Thank you, sir, and thank you, Dr. Balasubramaniam, for taking the time. And thanks to the faculty of Army Institute of Management in this conference together, Dr. Bang, Dr. Nur Firdaus Jan, and we have Dr. Bansal also joining us online, and Dr. Anupama Rao. Thank you so much for putting this together, and I'm sure that this will be an engaging session over today and tomorrow. And I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We have always admired a remarkable quality in him, that is his ever-smiling personality, and he always reflects humility and warmth. It's always a pleasure to have you with us, sir. Thank you very much once again. Gratitude is the sign of noble souls. Before I call upon our Deputy Director, Dr. Aparna Rao ma'am, to deliver the vote of thanks, I would like to quickly introduce ma'am to all of you. She brings 26 plus years of excellence in higher education leadership. Ma'am has been honored among the top 100 most influential directors of B schools in India. She's honored. She's also a proud recipient of the South Indian Women's Achiever Award, National Women Leadership Award, APJ Abdul Kalam Best Teacher Award, and several other national honors. Ma'am has successfully guided PhD scholars and served as an evaluator for doctoral thesis across multiple universities. She has authored and co-authored books on HRM and personal management, which are widely adopted by management studies, with over 20 plus impactful publications in Scopus Index and UGC CARE listed journals. She is a very kind and a very humble personality that RBI was lucky to have. Thank you very much for your enduring support in all the activities at RBIO, ma'am. I now request you to deliver the vote of thanks.
A very good morning to all. It is my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this significant occasion. First and foremost, I express our deepest gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. M.H. Balasubramaniam sir, for his enlightening address. Your insights have truly enriched our understanding and inspired us to pursue excellence in research and academia. We thank you, sir. Now I ask our director, present with memento to sir. thanks to our guest of honor, Mr. Ashwinder R. Singh, for sharing valuable perspectives that bridge academia and industry so effectively. I request our director, Purushottam Bansal, to present the memento to sir. Thank you very much, sir. We are grateful to Dr. J.C. Bansal for his encouraging address and continued support. We are grateful to Dr. J.C. Bansal for his encouraging address, but he could not able to do it because of the internet issues over there, and his support to this conference is always there. So we thank him for all this and the collaboration and the research initiatives. Our sincere appreciation to Director RBIM for his warm welcome and for setting the tone for this conference, and Dr. Jahan, Professor and General Chair, providing a comprehensive overview for the conference vision and objectives. We thank our RSST Trust for supporting us in all our endeavors. I extend my respectful thanks to our President, Mr. M.D. Kasturi Ranga, for his inspiring presidential address and for his unwavering support to academic excellence at RBIM. We thank SCRS for the technically sponsoring to our conference. I am thankful for SCRS technical team for working flawlessly. We're looking forward to hear you in the upcoming plenary session. I would also like to acknowledge the efforts of all session chairs, presenters and participants who have continued their papers and will be presenting in the technical sessions, making this conference intellectually stimulating and meaningful. Our sincere thanks to the organizing committee, faculty members, student volunteers and support staff whose meticulous planning and dedication ensure conduct
close of the inaugural ceremony. As we move forward, let us remember knowledge grows when shared. I now invite all of you to join us for high tea and networking in the basement at the quadrangle. You are only supposed to take 10 minutes or less than that for your high tea, so that we can start our plenary session soon. Thank you everyone and have a wonderful and insightful conference ahead.
ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಸೇವ್ ಆಪ್ಷನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ ಸೇವು